DrumWise Meets, and today I'm here with Chris Dave. Hi, Chris.
Hey, man, how are you?
So, my first question for you today is the typical first interview question. You'll have been asked a zillion times, so sorry in advance. So, what age did you get into drums? And when you first started, what did you find your inspiration was musically? You know, what bands or artists really got you into drums?
Okay, when I first started, that was probably, let's say five-ish, 5 or 6-ish. And probably the band at that time, at such a young age, would be the band of the church. So it was like a lot of musicians playing in church when I was younger. So yeah, I guess that would be the most influential at that time. It's kind of like my mom's church and my friends' churches and stuff like that.
Cool. And when you first started, when did you first get your first drum set?
Technically, in my mind, my first drum set was when I would just sit like lunch kits and pots and pans from the kitchen and sit it like a drum set in my mind on the floor. So that was like around 5 or 6. And yeah, then maybe I guess what was it like some super cheap sets, like a CB700 or something for a kid, probably like around 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And I normally follow up that question with, do you still have that drum set?
No. I do have a lot of my old kits though. I have them, but that one, yeah, it wasn't really good, so I was really happy to get rid of it.
Cool. And while we're talking about kits, talk to us about what you've had over the years, or maybe what your favourite's been, and then what you use now.
Oh shit, that's a hard question.
Yeah.
All right. Pretty much every drum set, if that makes sense. But I really have a thing for vintage drums. So, even back to the old Ludwigs and Furchies and stuff like that, and Noble and Coolies and Sonars, and man, I just love, you coming up. Every kit had a different sound, especially back then because the wood was different. So that gets more into my geeky talk, and I don't want to get into that.
But that's all good.
Yeah, so it's like where the wood was actually coming from, and then all the way down to those old Brady drums. It's different. You can't get a lemon gum tree in the States, and just all that kind of geeky stuff. And then now, it would probably be worse because I think I fell into just like smaller companies that make things. So, damn, that's a hard one. Oh yeah, like I like currently, I still like the innovation drums. I still like a old Gretsch, a old Rogers, Black Beauties. So it's like I'm still stuck on those, so it's hard to get away from that, But I just kind of interested in the sound of the drum, so it's not really even the company no more for me. Which is why I guess it was kind of hard to even have a drum endorsement for me. It wasn't like interesting because I was like, so I can't play this snare with this floor tom if I'm endorsed with this company? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, nah, I'm good.
I've spoken to a few people who say exactly that because yeah, when you're recording or whatever, and
Yeah,
you want to use what sounds right for the track. You don't want to be like, but I have to use this brand. So yeah, totally.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. It's a limiting thing unless, they make it special things for that drummer or musician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about drums and sounds, just to talk about a specific track that you played on, which I know obviously over here in the UK was a massive album. Although to be honest, on a worldwide scale, if I've got my facts right here, you played on One and Only on Adele's 21 album. And your groove on that is just like I can't even find the words. It's just
Oh man.
it's exquisite. How how did you come up with what you played and recorded and tracked on that song?
With Adele, we were pretty much. She had like a lot of demo esque type of things, So it's kind of the idea and everything was pretty much done. It was just more of what would we add to it if we were to do it over type of thing. So it's just kind of thinking of how to make it more, I guess, pleasant to the ear sonically. So that's something I always have fun doing with Pino and play the bass. So it was more of a, just trying to figure out a sonic connection we could have for the foundation of the song. And it was like, yeah, okay, start nodding and you're like, all right, I think I might go with this. And then if it feels right, if everybody's happy, you just, hope that it works.
Mm. Can you remember, because we were talking about, using the right gear for the song, can you remember what you used on that session?
Shit. Man, every drum company would be mad.
Oh, okay.
It was everything, yeah. No, I mean, I wouldn't care. It's just more like I literally had probably something from every, not every, but a lot of vintage things were there that wasn't from the same companies at all. So it wasn't one Roger set or a Ludwig set. It was all kind of crazy shit.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, I'm not here to give you an easy time, Chris. So
Okay.
this next one, I think I personally would find really hard to answer. And it's kind of a loaded question because I think as we evolve as drummers, we take on loads of different influences. Of course, we do. And on some of these interviews that I've done, you have been cited as like the influence for some of the guys I've interviewed. So it's great for it to come back round with me to ask you this question.
Okay.
If you had to pick just one, who would be your all-time favorite drummer?
Just one?
Yeah.
Hmm. Art Tatum. But he's not a drummer, he's a piano player.
Yeah,
but all the rhythms are there.
Exactly. Well, this is it. I mean, I can make your life easier by saying, okay, give me like of your five. Why am I doing four? Give me like five of your biggest inspirations.
5. Okay. My mom, my wife. That's a good one because it doesn't have anything to do with drums.
Doesn't have to. No, not at
Yeah,
all.
it's more like family, and like just smart geeky friends I have that like I'm always learning from them. So I always feel like, like, damn, what happened? How did you, like your friends that were building computers when you were shedding. So
Yeah.
yeah, so 15 years later or something, like they're onto some whole other shit. And then you just kind of like, damn, well, my left hand did get faster, but okay, tell me exactly how did you build that? So
Yeah. What's the CPU output?
yeah, man. But yeah, it would just go to friends and people I can actually talk to because it's easier to be influenced by that. If you can have conversations and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I obviously asked you, your all-time favorite drummer, and that is a really hard question. So, who over the years, like drummer-wise, has really influenced you? If I don't give you a number and you can just talk to us about who's like made you the player you are today, in terms of inspiration.
Every drummer I've heard.
That's a very, very valid answer, yeah, because it's so true, isn't it?
Yeah, it's every drummer I've heard. I can't even lie. So even from drummers I don't like, it's more of what I wouldn't do that I was learning, to drummers you absolutely love, trying to figure out how did that work for them, So yeah, it's the do's and the don'ts, feel, pocket, being on time, showing up to the gig like focused to knock it out and not like bringing anything from outside to the gig to mess up the vibe or energy of everyone else around you. Learning how to be, man, it's a lot, a therapist, uh, or if you are the musical director, you're definitely a therapist for the band. So learning all those different facets of drums, man, it's just so many different people, because it can go from, these dudes are amazing playing drums, but these dudes are amazing with their business stuff that went on with drums. These dudes are amazing with just being a clinician, studio drummers, you got session, live drummers, there's so many different things, gospel, the whole church scene, and just all these different things. So I would just be naming drummers, like, oh yeah, and I forgot about this album. Yeah, I gotta say this dude. Damn, yeah, I forgot about that album, But I literally still to this day learn from anyone I hear. So it's never, it's just that's a hard question because it's a ongoing journey.
It is. I had a lesson just before this interview, and I just said exactly that to the student, that you're always learning. It doesn't matter how far down I've been playing 20 years, and of course I'm still learning new stuff every day when I'm watching someone play or talking to someone like you. So yeah, totally, it's an ongoing thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like if you stop learning, then it's kind of you're done. I don't know how to say it nicely, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, it's true. And I actually said this to the student earlier, and I've said it in an interview as well. I had a student a few years ago. I hope he doesn't watch these interviews. He was stopping lessons, and his mum said, "Oh, let's just say he's called Little Jimmy." His mum said, "Oh, yeah." His mum said, "Oh, Little Jimmy he's going to stop lessons because he knows everything now."
Oh shit! Yeah.
And I was just like,
he was like,
"Okay."
You should just say okay.
I did. Cool. I said, okay, that's cool. And then I followed it up by, I don't know everything yet.
So he's fine. Yeah, you can't know everything. That's a bold statement.
Really bold, yeah. Anyway, moving on.
All right.
So hopefully this is one of the last difficult questions. Some people, again, have found this one really tough. What's been the highlight of your career so far?
Music-wise?
Yeah.
Oh, it's easy. Drumheads. Easy.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Talk to us
Yeah.
about, about that project and
Well, it was just the point of actually putting the project together, getting the group. We would always talk about how we could play together, but what would be like, how would we do it? Since we was playing for all these different artists all the time together, but we wanted to play other types of music as well and other different things, and everyone was writing and stuff. So we just kind of everyone. It was more of a plight to fight for everyone that was kind of like the background musician, and it was like, man, everyone that's kind of in the back wearing all black or whatever, like I don't think people realize how amazing these people are, so it's like, how do we bring all that to the front, and with music and all of this, and so it's just bringing that together, and it started, man, I don't know how many variations I had of the drum heads, because it's too many of us.
yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, how do we go on tour? We can't have 20 people on stage, so we got to break it up into groups, but this and that. And then finally, after, I think it was in the middle of like a Robert Glasper run or something, like right after the Grammy thing we got. And I was like, all right, I just gotta, it's time, because I can't be only your drummer. Like I can't be known for just, you know, being your drummer. Like that's not my goal. And then like he was, that's why we friends to this day. He was very understanding. But a lot of people couldn't see it at the time. It's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Why would you do this and this? And that's kind of been the pattern.
Mm.
Like, because I always wanted like a family on the road type of thing. So best way was like, hey, let's start our own thing, but everything we hate in other groups, let's not do it in this group.
Mm.
All the way
Well,
down to publishing
yeah.
and points and all of that. Like whatever doesn't happen over there, let's make it happen just within this little group.
Mm.
And then it just kind of took off from there. Because we wasn't really thinking of the names and stuff, so it was more like, all right, I just need, okay, Pino, blah blah blah. So it's more of, we're thinking of it like, oh, this would be fun for us to play, because you're not really thinking of, oh, I need Pino because of his resume. Oh, I need this dude because of his resume. Like we literally eat dinner and all that stuff together. So it's more of, we should finish this. We should do this. So then I guess some kind of way I got elected as the band leader for all of that, because I'm good with putting those type of things together. And then, finally made it. Got one out, Blue Note, Grammy nominated. So it was like, it was just a good thing. It was a lot of hard work, but at the end, it was just worth it to just have it done.
Mm.
And at least you could say you did, like, okay, it's finished. Not
Yeah.
me talking to you right now and like, all right, it should come out in a couple of years, so,
Yeah.
But that was it. It was kind of like your first child
Mm.
type of thing for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, let's see. That wasn't a hard one after all. Then
Ah.
you got that one down.
Yeah, it's easy.
Awesome, and hopefully these next ones are going to be, fairly straightforward. So from career highlights that we just talked about, then to sort of things that maybe have gone wrong when you've been playing live. Have you got anything that you can tell us about that's gone wrong on stage that you've had to recover from? Any funny stories, whether it be gear fails or brain fails.
Oh man, what, like, so many things, like say if I'm with, especially if I'm playing with Robert Glasper and like Derek Hodge or something like that. Like we used to all live together, so Derek loves to make drinks and stuff like that before we play pre-show. And then like I remember one time we probably had one too many drinks before we went on stage. So it was more of a we were all kind of just looking at each other like we couldn't decide what to play first. But it wasn't like we didn't have songs to play. It was literally just, but what should we start off with? So it started in the dressing room. I mean, all the way to the stage. Like after Rob introduced everyone, then he just sat back down and it still was like, so what should we play? Now we're playing. He just, he starts playing something, whatever, and then because when you said brain freeze, it made me think of that, where you just kind of like you're just watching, like
Yeah.
this is nice.
How does this one start again? Yeah.
Yeah, you like. And it was like something brand new he just made up like the day before. So you just kind of like, I kind of remember what I played, but it's no recording of it because you literally just came up with it. And then you kind of like looking at Derek play the bass line. And then once I started to beat, Derek stops because it's like we're going through all these little fractions. But to the audience, it's like some deep, extra deep shit. You're like, oh, okay. Did he stops? Derek starts. Man, the concept of this is crazy. Blah, blah, blah. Just like, what's that? What was it? Team Spirit? Like the Robert Glasper album. What was that? Black Radio, I think. Or one of those.
Yeah.
Where the bass drum goes super fast through the song. And we're just playing. And it started with just drink some coffee, and I don't drink coffee.
Okay.
I was like, man, this shit make you shaking. It's too strong. And then I just started playing with the bass drum, on my foot. And then they were like, Keith, the engineer, just hit record. So I was like, hey, hit record, because I don't know if I could play this beat ever again, because I'm literally about to just try it. But then as soon as I started, that's how we got the first take of Team Spirit, with Rob.
Right.
It was just literally like, okay, are you recording? Please record. I can't stop. Like I couldn't stop the beat.
Yeah.
But I was like, I know if I stop, I won't remember the beat. Because it was like 3 a.m. and you dead, you're delirious, exhausted type of thing. Yeah, but I didn't have anything where I lost the stick and did something and threw the stick and hit somebody in the head, or I didn't have the epic fails. Like you sit down on a big stage and the seat falls and you fall off the stage.
That's
And
cool. Cool.
Mine are more scarier. Like if the electronics go out.
Yeah.
And you sitting there like, so do you have a generator for the backup? Because if these claps don't work, then what the fuck? What am I gonna?
I don't know if can you hear me? We seem to have.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, you can hear me.
All right.
That's because we were talking about technology.
So yeah, I just wanted to give you a personal example of how things can fail and what you should be scared of. That was
it. There we go. So I've got a couple of curveball questions for you now, Chris.
Cool.
And the first one of those is, what are your hobbies away from drums? What stuff do you like doing, in your downtime?
Okay. I like to cook, play dominoes. More like I like kind of relax and kind of my hobbies now. I just recently got married, so it's more chilling with my wife and getting away, kind of listening to music she likes to listen to and hit me to, and spend time with family. Just laugh. Really, anything with laughing and food, I'm good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of food, leads me nicely on to my next question.
All right.
And you mentioned not drinking coffee earlier. That kind of links me also to this question. So this has been the most controversial and important question of this whole video interview series. So, what's your favorite cookie?
Favorite cookie?
Yeah.
Sweets, probably I'm not really a chocolate chip type of person. So it's anything with lemon, like lemon butter,
Okay.
more like that vibe.
Yeah.
I'm not really like a big cookie person, but yeah,
no,
something
cool.
like that. Yeah, vanilla type of flavor.
Yeah. And the reason that question came about was because I started with these interviews with a few friends, and in the UK we're like mad on what we call biscuits, cookies.
Yeah.
So that's where it came about. And then the next part of that question has always been, well, okay, you take one of your lemon vanilla cookies. Would you dunk that cookie in your tea, or obviously not coffee, but in your beverage?
No, I would dip it in tea.
Yeah.
Just I know about the. I would dip it in tea. The tea would have milk,
Okay.
and maybe honey, and that's it. Yeah, definitely.
That sounds good. See, I bet you didn't think I was going to be asking you that today, did you?
Right. But I would definitely drink some tea after this now.
I don't know. I don't know if your agent showed you the questions, but I left that one out on purpose.
Nice. Nice.
So, on to my last question, and this, a serious one, just to people starting out with drums. So, you've kind of already touched on, important characteristics and, being the right sort of person and so on. But if you had to just give one bit of advice to up and coming drummers, what would that advice be?
Oh man, make sure you listen to everything. Every type of music that comes your way, just file it in your brain as something to learn, like, or something to learn from. And like if you have any type of person that's older than you that's trying to show you any type of knowledge of something they've been through that you think may be different for you than what they went through, just listen to them. Like listen to everyone's past experiences so you don't repeat them, but like change it. you know and of course practice. Like don't ever get around, but that's in anything you do, so don't ever get around like trying to find a quick way, because then you won't know, like, how hard it was to get to these certain points of why people are appreciative of certain things, because they know what the hard work it took to get there.
So, Chris, thank you so much for spending your time with us here at DrumWise today. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you.
Oh man, this was awesome. Thank you for even having me. Appreciate it.